Hi everyone and welcome to the Fit Formula. Hi, I'm Britney and I'm 25 years old and I've been training since I was 40.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm 22 and I've been training since I'm 19. So, Britney, what is the Fit Formula? What are we doing?
So basically, Megan and myself, both of us have been down the bodybuilding road and we kind of connected through bodybuilding because she started training in my gym. And yeah, we both felt there's a gap in the market for, first of all, busting all the myths, correcting all the misinformation, and doing like a podcast or even social media where we do research-based spreading of information. We're not just going to ramble everything and make things up. Like everything that we say is going to be research-based. Some of it will just chit-chat a bit, but if we give advice and things like that, it will be research-based. And we kind of just realized there's a gap in the market for proper coaching, especially when it comes to females, because female body is quite
Complex.
yeah, quite complex and sensitive, and yeah, I think we'll be able to contribute in a positive way to the fitness industry and influencing. Is there anything that you would like to add next?
Yeah, I think we're just here to talk about our experiences and hopefully inspire some people as well out there. And maybe there are some people that can relate with us who's been through similar experiences, and we are here to talk about those things. And we're also here to talk to other people in the fitness industry and to elaborate more about not just bodybuilding, but other forms of fitness as well.
Yeah.
So
And I think even if we can just help one person or give advice to one person, we would be happy, because then we actually made a difference in someone's fitness industry or fitness journey.
so we're just here to help.
Megan, so I know you've competed previously, and I'm very curious to know, like, how did you get into the sport? What motivated you to get into it? When did you start prepping? How long was your prep? Yeah, just tell me more about your journey.
So, like I said, I started when I was 19. I just moved to Silver and I didn't go in once, so I joined the gym. And that's also where I met my husband. And he actually is the one that influenced me with bodybuilding, and he wanted to compete. And so he kind of introduced me to it. I didn't know a lot. He gave me like a workout plan, introduced me to like how to check calories and macros and all of that. And I just started to get more curious about it and started following people on Instagram, influencers, started seeing like what is the sport really about. And it was always like I wanted to do it, but I was unsure of what it really is. So I did a USA challenge because I thought maybe if I do the challenge, I can prove to myself that I can do a prep. And did the challenge, and then I was kind of in a good space physically, and I got a coach and started working with my coach. And it was about 2 months later, since I started with my coach, that I started prep. And it was much different than I thought it would be. Because it's like, oh man, mentally it's a big thing to go through. I think you can push through physically with the food and with cardio and workouts, but to deal with everything mentally, it's a lot. But then I did my first show. It was amazing, lovely experience. And then post-show was a bit of a all over because it's the first time, and I was like, but then it kind of, I just knew that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I really loved it. So.
And what would you say was your biggest challenges during the prep? And what areas would you say you grew the most?
I think the most challenging was to not be able to spend as much time with family and with my husband, then boyfriend, because you don't realize when you're not in prep, but when you're in prep, if you don't food is such a big part of our everyday lives and you don't realize it. So the moment that you're in prep and people start asking, oh, do you want to go for lunch? Or let's go out for dinner. And they're like, oh, God, but I can bring my food. And everyone's like, why do you bring food? Like,
Yeah.
weird. What are you eating?
I don't think you realize the big amount of sacrifices it takes to get to that point until you're not in prep anymore, and then you're like kind of in normal civilization or whatever, continue with your normal life, and then you're like, geez, I actually missed out on all these things. But that being said, would you compete again?
Definitely. I'm actually in the pipeline to compete in it this year.
Okay, that's exciting.
I have a month and a bit to just grow, and then I started prep again.
Okay.
Exciting.
It's very exciting.
Enough about me. Tell a bit about you. How did you get into it? What's the inspiration?
I started training in a private gym with a personal trainer. And the gym that I grew up in, literally everyone was competing. It was a very normal thing. So I went to shows since I was, I think, about 14 years old. I went to shows, watch other people compete. And in the back of my mind, it was always like, I really want to do this, but I didn't know the sacrifices it took. So I did my first show, I think I was like 17. I was still in school. It wasn't a long prep, and I thought it was the end of the world. I literally prepped for 4 weeks, got on stage, and the novice show, I flew back then. It was absolutely a horrible experience. I said, never in my life I'll do it again. Fast forward a couple of years later, 2022, I went through a heartbreak. I was like, okay, I need to focus my mind on something else. We actually had the conversation earlier about how we tend to wrap things under the mat and just laser focus on this journey. And that's kind of what I did. Laser focus on this journey, literally put everything that I have into prep, like mentally, physically, emotionally. I was in prep for about 45 weeks straight. Did 4 shows back to back. It's just been, I think it's because I grew up in a gym where everyone was competing. It was kind of like, you'd be stupid not to try. And after every show, I said, I don't know if I want to continue. And then I take like a break for a day or two, and then I'm just back into it again. But this is the longest I've been off now since my last show. And I really want to compete again, and I also really don't want to. I'm in two minds about it. But we'll see. Maybe next year, maybe this year. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. And what has been your biggest challenge, like in prep and off season? What's the biggest challenge?
In prep, I would say definitely finding the balance. It is a very selfish sport.
Yeah.
But I tend to self-isolate. So I would literally isolate myself from everyone and everything, just not to be around the distractions or food or anything. Because I know mentally I'm not that tough. If I'm around the food, then I'm going to want to eat it. So I was literally in my isolation station there at home, doing my thing, literally just got up, did my cardio, went to worked the whole day, came back, slept, eat, whatever. Like, that was basically my life. And even on the weekends, I would shut my curtains and just lie there and watch series the whole time.
Very alone.
Yeah, it was a very lonely journey. And I think it was extra lonely because all of my support, my coach, my parents, my family, everyone was like in Pretoria and I was in some situation. So it was a very lonely journey. But if I take all the growth and everything that I got from it, I would do it all over again. Yeah. It taught me determination to push through difficult times like nothing in my life ever has before. Yeah. And off season, I would say, oh my word, I think anyone would say the biggest challenge is in prep. It's the nicest thing to see your body change.
Yeah.
Off season, it's the worst thing to see your body change.
Yeah, go back.
Yeah, and especially if you lost post show. Like, I had no idea what to do, how to do it. I even signed up for boxing classes because I was
some motivation.
Yeah, some motivation to train. I started running. I hate running. I started running.
I remember that.
I even started Pilates. I actually enjoy the Pilates. I'm still doing it every now and then. Yeah, but I literally tried everything. I was like, I need to try every form of being active, just to fill that gap and to get yourself to work towards something. Like, I don't know, to get that same tunnel vision effect. But I haven't experienced it so I'm hoping something will tickle my fancy to do that again, even if it's not for prep. Yeah, just something else that I can push my energy towards. Yeah.
I think it is very important post-show to have another goal in mind. I think if that's done and I can change for my next shows to have something proper post-show in place. So
Yeah, it's a structure.
Okay, now it's done, and you're like, you have this, all these emotions of like the show being so amazing, and you want to focus on the next show, but then you're also like, I want to eat.
Yeah, I'm so hungry. I just want to eat everything. And
It's so difficult to manage that.
I also think if you have a good coach, that will kind of fill that gap.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of, after my last show, I was like, shit, I'm on my own, I'm gonna ditch coaching. And ever since I've been hopping around coaches, I haven't coached for a month, and then life gets too busy because I decided to take everything all at once. Like, in a prep, board gym, and everything is happening so quickly. And then, after the show, I haven't had like a proper routine of training, eating, or anything like that. And I think I jump from coach to coach to kind of fill that void and to get into it. And every time I come into a coach, then it's like, oh, shut up, see, don't keep me.
It's okay.
So I've been jumping from coach to coach to kind of fill the void. And then I would commit to a coach, and then something happens here, and then I can't fully commit my attention and my time and my energy into training, etc. And then I'm like, I'm actually wasting my money. Let me stop. And then this happens, and then that happens. So I kind of just want to get everything in my life in such a place where I can actually commit to my training again, focus, because I feel like that's when I thrive. Is when I have my routine. I know what to eat, when to eat it, what to train. And I'm just excited to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, and it's good to have a routine, and I think things just get better when you are in a routine. But you said you had a few coaches. What's like your opinion, and why did you jump from coach to coach?
I think each coach has a different way of coaching, and I've had like 4 or 5 different people. Some of them I've been with long, like my original coach from prep. I've been with him since I was 14, so basically 2014 till end of 2023. And ever since I've been back and forth between coaches, and each coach has a different way of coaching. They use different platforms. So I can say I learned from all of the good things, and I can see like, ooh, I like the way that this one does my check-in photos, or I like the feedback from this one, or I like the meal plan structure from this one, or the communication between this one and that one. And then I would say out of all of them, I also saw things that I didn't like. For instance, if I ask a question and I have to wait 2-3 weeks for a response. As a paying athlete, it's obviously very frustrating because you need an answer probably like right now. Or within a day or 2 weeks, fine still. But other places like it's cookie cutter programs and meal plans. I have a very complex body because I have the autoimmune, I have PCOS. Like it makes my metabolism is screwed. Like it's very slow. My body doesn't respond the same way as someone with a healthy body. So you can't put us in the same amount of calories because I'm just going to get fat and that person's going to lose weight.
Yeah.
So that's also interesting. And also, I need someone that put me in my place. If I cheated on my meal plan, I need to be so flippin' scared of that coach. I think it's also a respect thing. Like I need to have a ton of respect for you, and actually be scared of you in order for me to stick to my plan. Like I want someone, they need to know if that weight went up by 1.4 kilograms or even 0.4, it's like, what did you eat? This off meal or this off plan, what did you do? So I need that kind of dynamic. But you only been with one coach, what's your experience with coaches, what things did you like, what didn't you like? If you could change anything from a coaching perspective if you could add something, what would it be?
Well, it's kind of when I just came into the gym, I've never had a personal trainer. My personal trainer was my husband. So, so it's like when I got a coach, I had no idea what to expect. So I thought what I had was good. Like, it was good, but there were certain things after a while that I started to realize this isn't right. But I think a big thing for me that stands out if I have to choose a coach is someone that actually is honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like dead serious, honest with you about everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of coaches aren't honest with their clients when it comes to PED use and that kind of. Unfortunately, bodybuilding is a sport where PED use is quite common. Like literally every second athlete, even more than that, I think like 75, 80% people use PEDs in some way or the other. And to me, I find a lot of the coaches aren't honest with the athletes about the side effects. So they put their clients on cycles of whatever, and they sit with like all these symptoms and side effects and whatever afterwards, and you don't know what to do.
Yeah. And most people aren't educated in performance enhancing drugs. So they just, if you tell someone, take this, it's going to be fine, and they don't know anything about it, they're going to be, okay, I trust you, and I'm going to do it. And then they sit with consequences afterwards, and then it's like, you can't reverse that.
I think the thing that's said most in the industry is trust your coach and trust the process, but it's kind of difficult to trust when they're not being honest with you.
That is, and unfortunately sometimes you have to find that out the hard way.
Yeah.
And not sometimes even with, PDs that they're not truthful, but I felt like being new in bodybuilding, tell me why you do something, because I don't know. This is my first time. Tell me why you changed that. Tell me why you upped the cardio. Why certain things are in place. Like, tell me why I must take omega-3s or vitamin D or something.
Yeah, I want to know.
Tell me, because I want to know. And don't leave me in the dark. I know some people are fine with it, but I want to know.
Yeah, rather over-communicate than under-communicate.
What do you feel if you have to get another coach is something that you would also look out for?
I think at this stage I have a little checklist. So first of all, they must have some sort of credentials in the industry, like either studied human movement science or personal training or whatever. And especially when it comes to bodybuilding, I want someone that did the research or at least some sort of course in a peak week or whatever. You can't just thumbs up peak week. Everyone's body will respond different to the same protocol. Yet again, like I said previously, what works for you is not necessarily going to work for me. Yeah. So that's the first thing that I would look into is the education and the background, etc. I would also reach out to previous athletes of them, because I think you'll get an honest answer from someone that used to be a client compared to someone who is now, because you can kind of be like, light is blind.
Yeah.
I find it similar to that. While you're in the process, you kind of throw a blind eye to certain areas in the sport. So I think I'll talk to previous clients as well as current clients of the coach. I'll look at transformations. I'll ask what their peak protocols look like. Do they put their clients on PEDs? How does it work when it comes to that point? And then also communication. If I reach out to them initially, how's the communication between the two of us? I think those are the most basic things that I would look out for. And obviously price-wise, I think in the industry, unfortunately, is that way you can pay 500 Rand for a coach and you'll get 500 Rand of service. The more you pay for a coach, probably the better coach you'll gain, because they will most likely have less clients and focus their energy on you. Yeah. Where if you have someone that goes and charge 1,000 Rand, they probably have cookie cutter things. They'll have 500 clients and just put everyone on the same thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the things that I would look out for. I would rather pay more and have a more personalized relationship with the coach. And I personally thrive more with a male coach because I am intimidated. I have a bit more respect for them because I know they wouldn't be scared to tell me if I'm wrong. Where a lot of female coaches tend to be a bit more soft.
Yeah.
That like anything goes, anything's fine. So that's just my personal preference. I know other girls prefer to have a female coach because it's a bit awkward. Set your checking photos to die, but yeah, I think that's my check. What are things that you would look out for, or what are boxes that need to be ticked for you by a coach before you join anyone again?
I think when I looked for a coach, I instantly went to social media and looked at their profiles, and I think that can be very deceiving. Because a lot of the times they only post, the best clients, and it can be deceiving to say, or to look at their social media and think, wow, this must be a great coach because their social media looks amazing. And I think I kind of fell in that rabbit hole and then didn't work out. So I think don't do your research, like you said. Chat with previous clients and chat with them. Don't just chat over the phone. Like, do a video call, because when you actually sit and talk to that person, you get a better feel. And I think you can be more honest, and they can be more honest with you. Whereas you're just talking over the phone, it's kind of it's such a personal thing. And when you're just, chatting over the phone, it gets very not impersonal. Like, it's not as personal.
You said earlier about the video call. I 100% agree with you. And I also think people, if you're thinking of joining a coach, make a list of difficult questions.
Yeah.
Ask the difficult questions and see how they respond. See how knowledgeable they are.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with something, like, for instance, me with the PCOS, I would go straight to a coach and be like, listen, this is what I have. How would this be different to any other client? If they don't give me the correct answers, which I now know the answer, way back when I started, I didn't know the right answer, but with time, we'll obviously know that, and we'll try to cover topics like that. We want to ask when to ask it, what are research-based things. We're obviously not going to ramble all the time, but yeah, that makes a huge difference. If you ask knowledgeable questions and they answer them correctly, and you can go and you can actually find their answer on, if you go through other research and things like that, then you have a knowledgeable coach. And something like that. Because it's easy to just say, Karadblikten. It's not necessarily like with the new technology or whatever, with latest research, it's not necessarily needed to do that. But if you have a knowledgeable coach that is on top of his research, his own research, they'll know the right answer to certain questions.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that it's so difficult, when, like, you've been with a lot of coaches, so you kind of know, like, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy knows what he's talking about. But when you're new into industry, you want to start out in coach, it's so difficult to know, like, what is the right question? What do you ask? So you just blindly follow this person and just trust that they, are doing. So I think it is difficult, but I think if I have to say to someone that's just starting out and wants to start out, just, chat to their previous clients or even clients that
reach out to other people that's competed before and say, like, listen, I'm thinking of competing.
Yeah.
What do you suggest I do?
Yes. Yeah. Or you can even just ask if there's someone you follow that's a bodybuilder, just send them a message and ask, are they coaches you brilliant? And maybe they will check to all of them. And I think,
and if the viewers already actually was ask us, I think we'll be able to provide some good recommendations as well as a list of questions on what to ask. If you're thinking of joining a coach, we'll be able to provide you with that background and say, like, from our experiences, I would suggest asking this, and that. And the other thing as well, I left it out earlier, the most difficult part of prep was posing. Oh my word. It's so difficult. And that's the two things that I would say invest in. Invest in a good coach and invest in a good posing coach. Because you can have a horrible physique, but if you pose correctly, you can hide all your flaws. Or you can have the best physique, but if you pose horribly, it will take away all your good features. So that's definitely the two things to invest in, I would say.
I agree. It's not the posing is. I don't like posing, and it's like it's okay if you pose at your home, but it's like pose in the gym in your heels and everything.
Yeah, everyone is watching. Like, what are you doing? Like, but as well, that's also the thing. You need to do it in a setting where other people are, because I would be posing for hours there in my house, in my heels, my bikini and whatever, and be like, no, I'm fine. But the minute I do it in front of other people, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, then you forget everything.
You forget everything. You're so nervous, you shake, you feel unsteady on your heels. And so it is important to do it in a setting where other people's around it, where people can watch you. Because
that is very important. And stage presentation it's everything.
Yeah.
It does so much for you. And I think it's sad because there were a few girls that were in my lineup. They looked really good, but that posing just wasn't there. I thought, that's so sad because, they could have placed or they could have, done so much better if their posing was just, better. And so
I honestly think my posing is what helped me to get as far as winning essays and going to Worlds. I didn't necessarily have the best physique, but I think my posing was quite good because I had a good posing coach and I've been practicing for I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
So obviously with the first show and the second show, my posing was horrible, but with time you get used to it, so you get more comfortable with movements, and it's kind of like a show that you put on.
Yeah.
I remember in SA Champs, my posing coach told me to play with my eyes, be very sexy and whatever. I didn't know it worked. We get the judge, things like that. I think bodybuilding is such a good, there's a saying that says you need to get uncomfortable to get comfy, and bodybuilding is such a good example of that saying. Like, you need to be so uncomfortable in your prep. The more uncomfortable you are in your prep, the better your results is going to be.
Yeah.
When it comes to posing, when it comes to training, you need to push past your limits with your eating, with your water intake. Just like push yourself past your comfort zone, and then you'll obviously, you will succeed. Yeah, you will be rewarded.
I think it is being in prep, but even bodybuilding, not just being in prep, it's such a mental thing.
Yeah.
I think actually, the off season for me is more mental thing than anything else.
I 100% agree with you,
because after prep, I kind of like throw on a bandwagon, and it's just I ate everything, and I had a meal plan, but I was just like, if I'm getting everything. Like, I see it, I eat it. I was on the seafood diet. I saw it and I ate it.
I was literally, I didn't even have a meal diet. I was just like, there's no way. I didn't do reverse. I regret that. Because I didn't take diet breaks obviously with my shows, but when I was finished the last one, I started eating as if I was binge eating every single day for I don't even know how long. And then it came to a point where I would look to myself in the mirror and like, sis, this is gross.
Yeah. This
is gross. And I made a turning point last year, April, March, around there. It was just like, I need to get back into my training, at least follow some form of a meal plan and get back on track. And slowly but surely, I kind of ditched the binging. Every now and then they will stick its head out, but I kind of have it as a visual now. But it's such a mental thing, I think, because your hunger hormones are just all over the place post-show, because especially if you had a long prep, I think, you just don't know where you stop. I'm literally eating until I'm nauseous.
I think that is something that I'll definitely handle better this year, is how make I do reverse, because, I think your post-show would also be better if you had a good prep.
Yeah.
But I didn't have, like, my prep was okay, and then it came to like 5 weeks, and then it's just like, it, my calories dropped very low. I'm ashamed to even say how low it was. And my cardio was so high, and I was so exhausted. And then when you then start to eat, it's like, oh my gosh,
That's so true.
So,
I think also my prep was so long and my calories was literally next to nothing. I'm not going to specify the number, but it was under 1,000.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous for insane amount of weeks long. Like, obviously it worked because I got the results, but I think if we played it safer with high calories, first of all, my hormones would be in a better place. And second of all, I'm going to eat the whole world for 3 months, 4 months post show.
But then now if I showed you, like, then it took me a very long time to, because then I also want, like, oh, I wanted to run, and then I wanted to do this, and then I wanted to do this, and then I did everything except trying to bodybuild. And then when I actually started to wrap my head around what was going on, and I started to focus on just getting to the gym, doing my workouts, ticking the boxes, and eating the macros right. And, for beginning of this year, I think we both went through the same thing when we were like, oh, we're exercising so hard, but we're eating next to nothing, but we're still fat. Yeah. And then why aren't we losing anything? And then it's like, yeah, because we're not eating anything.
Yeah, I think if you undereat as well.
Yeah, that is a big thing.
Then you also tend to binge more.
Exactly, yeah. So then when I started with my new coach and I started to eat more, everything started to fall in place. And that's actually kind of when I realized that you can, that's where it's getting mental. Like the mental thing is, you can still eat your macros and eat what you need to eat and perform in the gym to get your gains, but you can also, if you're off season on your prep, still enjoy small things with your family.
Yeah.
And I think what made it very hard for me in the prep was I was like, and I know in the prep it is to the brand, that the full prep, I was like strict on everything.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be strict on everything, even post-show. And then when I started to just lose my mind post-show, I just couldn't stick to it being to the team. I think when you're off-season, you have to manage it.
I think you need to have a little bit more flexibility in the off-season.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying go balls with wall, eat literally everything. Just have one meal a week with your family.
Yes. Yeah. I still.
Outstanding. Or every 2 weeks. Just make time for those things. Or have an ice cream with your husband when you walk your dog or whatever. Just make time for those things. Because obviously when you eat prep, you're not going to make time for those things. This later purpose, like you can go walk your dog, but sometimes you just want to enjoy the little things in life. I think that's important during off season to have the balance of being focused in the gym, eating your meals, like the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
In prep, obviously the 80-20 rule is not going to work because then you eat it down to the T. But in off season, the 80-20 rule is so applicable.
Yeah. Because I'm someone that I get so obsessed with something, and I will eat like my meal plan every day exactly to the gram, and I know if I continue that way, it's not helping mentally. So I've forced myself to just have something like that big. It's not about food. It's not about what I eat. It's about who I spend it with. And I be so much for that person who I spend it with. So that's why I just take some small breaks into that. That is very important. So it was nice chatting with you and everybody watching. I hope you guys took some not full information out there. And we are very excited to share some more podcasts with you and chats with other people maybe soon. So
thank you. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thank you for watching.
thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.